We're here with Megazone at, again, the first annual Hebert's Candy Mansion EV show. Over 60 EVs are here. Megazone owns a Tesla Model X, and he's let me test drive it on occasion. And I wanted to talk to him because he seems to have a good pulse on the future of EVs in the next 2-3 years. We were talking about the Gen 2 Nissan Leaf and the longer range model that's going to come out next year. Megazone, can you tell us what you think is going to be, because you're really tapped into this, you're very knowledgeable technically about this. What do you think is going to happen in the next 2 or 3 years? What do you see as the upcoming, the market for these vehicles in the next 2 or 3 years?
Well, I definitely think the next 2 or 3 years that'll take us out to 2020 or so.
Yeah.
And we're seeing announcements from a lot of major traditional automakers.
Yeah.
Who are going to be massively electrifying their fleets, either plug-in hybrids or pure EVs, a mix of both. They talk about electrifying their systems, but a lot of those are going to be plug-in hybrids.
Yeah.
As we were just talking about, I saw the 2018 Leaf at one of the recent National Drive Electric Week events.
Yeah.
It's definitely a second generation of a major upgrade of the first generation Leaf. It's added range. As I was saying, I think a lot of people who have those first generation cars who were maybe trepidatious about EVs and got them as a commuting vehicle.
Yeah.
I think one of the reasons Nissan's looking at longer ranges and improvement cars, now that people are comfortable with EVs, you'll see more people buying them as their primary vehicle. Like, this is my only daily drive.
Sure.
This is for everything.
What's the range on your Model X, by the way?
It's rated, this is a 90D. It was rated for like 262, I think, on a full charge.
Okay.
It's like any other car, depending on how you drive it. I regularly get well over 200 miles, like 230 or so out of it.
Okay. So you're a little heavy on the foot.
A little heavy on the foot. I mean, you got the acceleration. I don't have the performance model, but it's a nice car to drive. But I think a lot of people, I've been doing these different EV events, or I go to cruise nights, like with a lot of traditional cars.
Sure.
And people ask me a lot of questions about them, and I've noticed a change in the past year. I started doing it last summer when I got the car, and now it's been a year and a half or so. People are asking more educated questions, or are more genuinely interested. Like, it's not so much of a freakish thing to show up in an EV at these things. At a cruise night. Yeah. It's like, a Tesla. I've been looking at these. I've heard about the Model 3. I've been seeing this in the news, and I have a friend of mine's got a Leaf, and they're like, what do you think? And asking more practical questions. It's not just kind of like, how can you deal with driving an electric vehicle? Like it wasn't. So I'm seeing a real evolution of people's attitudes, public attitudes, and towards EVs. And I think with more cars coming on the market, with EVs becoming more practical, charge stations being built. Beyond Tesla, of course, you have the CCS stations going in for fast charging. It's becoming a more and more practical solution.
What does CCS stand for?
If I remember correctly, it's the Combined or Combo Charging Standard. It's the DC Fast Charging Standard.
It's not SAE? Is that the same as SAE?
It's the SAE's, because there's the SAE J1772 was the older standard, technically up to 80 amp AC. And then CCS is the DC Fast Change Standard SAE developed that's evolved. It's basically a J1772 plug with 2 pins underneath it.
Okay.
You'll see it, though. The first car that comes to mind that has that is the Bolt.
Okay.
At least I think it's an option on the Bolt. You get this fast charging.
Yeah, it is.
Option.
And the dealers don't always know enough to tell the customer that it's an option, and some of these guys, they end up with a car with no fast charging capability. It's basically, unfortunately, there's still a number of standards. Tesla, of course, has their own plug. Right. Can you get an adapter if you want to go to a Tesla?
I have back there. I can show it to you. I have a Chatamo adapter for the Chatamo standard.
Yeah.
They don't yet have a CCS adapter for Tesla. There's rumors there's one coming, but we'll see if it actually does.
Could somebody with a CCS capable charger plug use a Tesla supercharger with an adapter?
Not right now, because Tesla has said that they're willing to allow anybody who wants to work with them charge their cars. As a vendor, you have to be a vendor side. At this point, I don't believe anybody else has made a deal with Tesla to use the Tesla chargers. Technologically, there's no reason why you can't.
Sure.
You have to have a physical adapter for the plug, but it's just like, I have a Chatamo adapter, so I can charge my Tesla off Chatamo.
Yeah.
And there are third parties that sell adapters that let you charge a level 2, like a J1772 plug, off a Tesla destination charger, not a supercharger, but a destination charger.
What is the difference between a destination charger and a fast charger?
The superchargers are DC fast charging, so that's a very high. I want to remember it's 120 kilovolt, I think, supply.
Okay.
Very high rate of charging off DC. A destination charger, the physical plug is the same as the car. Obviously has the one socket.
Okay.
So the physical plug looks the same, but that's an AC up to 80 amp AC charging. So it's at 80 amps, this will be pretty quick, but it's definitely slower than a supercharger.
Yeah.
But because it's physically and as an AC charger, it's more just adapting that physical interface to a J1772 vehicle. There's a company, I can't remember the name of it, it's a third-party company, I think they call it the J-Adapter or something like that. It's basically a reverse adapter from, because you have, Tesla sells the cars that give you a little J1772 to Tesla, and they basically did something that's the other way around.
What do you think of Toyota's? Toyota's talking about replacing batteries entirely with, well, not batteries, but with solid-state batteries. And also there's John B. Goodenough in Texas, the old guy that invented the lithium-ion battery. He's also talking about getting is it solid state? Is that the term?
I'm not sure. I mean, there's a couple
quick charging.
I don't know the right term of art. I mean, there are certainly there's a number of different battery technologies. I mean, there's like batteries that are made, they call them glass cell batteries. Different substrates. Battery technology is certainly evolving rapidly. I mean, today's lithium-ion, lithium polymer battery cells are not the end-all be-all.
Absolutely.
The technology keeps advancing. I mean, Tesla alone is improving things. There's certainly going to be improvements in battery technology.
Yeah.
And I think